Falcon and Winter Soldier and WandaVision recently releasing on Disney Plus, ushering a brand new, beautiful age of Marvel television, I wanted to take a look back at some Marvel television that streamed on a rival platform that was at the time unparalleled in its own success, the Marvel Netflix series. What some would consider a pocket universe of the MCU, I'm comfortable with just associating it as a separate universe in the overall Marvel multiverse altogether until further notice, because too many things happen in New York for none of the Avengers to notice at all, especially in Defenders when a giant building comes down on everyone. Sorry, spoilers. That being said, what Marvel Netflix did was really remarkable at the time. And like Avengers 1, I couldn't believe that we were actually going to get a television series that would culminate in all of our heroes teaming up. And it's funny how the first few seasons of the Marvel Netflix shows like played out in similar fashion to Phase 1. You had 5 seasons of TV that led up to the crossover, including 2 seasons for the first hero introduced, and it kind of works out the same way. Daredevil, Iron Man 1, Jessica Jones, Incredible Hulk, Daredevil 2, Iron Man 2, and, so on, so forth. I think with the lone exception of Jessica Jones being a much superior second iteration in the universe than Incredible Hulk, obviously. And there's no way that was an accident. I have to think that was done on purpose. Almost all of it was incredibly enjoyable, giving much more detail and depth to the heroes and villains that we weren't afforded in the big budget film versions of some of our favorite Marvel heroes at the time. Obviously, we've gone much more in depth since those early Phase 1, Phase 2 films, but for what it was at that point, it was kind of groundbreaking for superhero storytelling. I'll just do a quick, recap of some of my thoughts here. Daredevil Season 1 was incredibly strong and gave us one of the best Marvel villains portrayed on screen in Kingpin. Oh, so good. Jessica Jones was such a thriller of a show, giving us our first major on-screen heroine. Yeah, in terms of having her own solo story, yeah, that came before Black Widow and Captain Marvel and everything else, so she was kind of really early for Marvel, which is exciting. And of course, you can't forget the incredibly disturbing David Tennant in Purple Man in the Jessica Jones series. That was probably top-notch villain work for a superhero TV series. Luke Cage was the first Marvel series to truly display life as an African American before Falcon and Winter Soldier, and kind of before Black Panther really gave us a sense of the culture of Wakanda, and even Killmonger and his impact as living as an African American in the U.S. Daredevil Season 2, it had an incredible first half, introducing the Punisher, and eventually, him getting his own solo series, which was edgy and fun and gruesome in some ways. It was very exciting. And then the second half, which kind of set up the Hand and what would eventually be, a lead-in for the Defenders, as well as Iron Fist, mostly being a low light in this. And it sucks because I was actually really the most excited for Iron Fist specifically when they announced the whole slate of seasons for Netflix. But there were still plenty of enjoyable moments throughout the second half of Daredevil Season 2 and Iron Fist 1. But it definitely felt muddy in comparison to everything else. And then eventually we got the team up that we were promised in The Defenders. It's my favorite series out of all the Netflix shows, mainly just because everyone who watches the show knows that I love a good crossover, and I'm such a sucker for it. Especially in the first episode where all the heroes are separated and all of them have their own color palettes to view through. Everything that Daredevil you see in that series is red, Jessica Jones blue, Luke Cage yellow, and Iron Fist green. It's just so cool. And yeah, it's specific and obvious, but it's just a really cool opportunity to take advantage of that. So I fell in love with the series right then and there. Looking back on it, I do agree that maybe 8 episodes for something as big as The Defenders maybe was asking too much, especially especially with Sigourney Weaver's role and what that wound up being in the Defenders series. But I still thoroughly enjoyed it throughout, and the fact that we even got it at all is still astounding to me. Everything else in the Netflix universe, they all got an extra season or 2 afterwards, and I think most made improvements on their previous seasons. Even Iron Fist 2 was better than Season 1. Um, I think overall Jessica Jones is the best solo series in terms of overall writing, but Luke Cage is personally my favorite solo hero series out of everything, and I just wish that that one got one more season just to wrap everything up. If I had to pick and choose one more Netflix show to go off of, I would have taken Luke Cage just to finish that, because just everything about the Luke Cage series is just impeccable to me. I absolutely love it. And for those that know that, I love Black Lightning, and I love Falcon and Winter Soldier, and I love Black Panther in terms of all of their racial undertones and everything that play into these series. I'm a big fan of understanding and studying those aspects of life. So I wish we got more Luke Cage, but that could just be me. When I first started this show, Knights of the Dirty Table, Marvel Netflix was still premiering what would wind up being their final seasons. We didn't know that that was going to be the case at the time, but I really wanted to talk about why I loved what Marvel Television was doing. I wanted to highlight my favorite shows, my favorite seasons, characters, and where they could all go next. Obviously, a lot has changed in the 3 years since the end of those seasons and since the startup of our show here. Marvel is now the undisputed king of entertainment, with their own platform where they have complete control over their storytelling, and they have complete control over all the characters that they want to put on the silver screen or the small screen. Netflix is still a juggernaut, being the number one streaming platform. It's kind of not even close. $15 billion into all of their movie and television properties. No big deal. It's fine. They can just make whatever they want to at any given moment. They're just far more inclined to go with their own catalog of stories and outsource less to other places, like they did with, Disney and Marvel when they were creating the series. To my understanding, and I feel free to comment down below if I happen to be missing anything in this, please. No one from the Marvel Netflix series wanted to leave. Showrunners, cast and crew, whatever. It sucks when you actually enjoy your job and what you do for a living, only to have it swiped away due to financial reasons. Luke Cage was the first of all, I believe, if I have my memory correct, because Marvel and Netflix couldn't agree on what the episode count would be for season 3. Marvel wanted to tell the best story that it could, and Netflix wanted an episode count that would keep people glued to the platform for as long as possible. Then everything fell apart altogether when Disney was moving forward with their own streaming service. And from what I gathered in the kind of minimal amount of research that I did, / what I remember from all those years ago, Netflix felt a little blindsided by this, that they weren't given any warning based on what I read. And it played out that way based on all the cancellations that soon followed after Luke Cage. Like maybe 2 or 3 weeks after each season premiere, it just went away like it was just trash every season. Personally, I will remember this Pocket Universe as my introduction to binging as a whole, the art of binge watching. Back when I did enjoy having every episode available to me all at once, and there were less options for me to choose from. It was especially fun throughout college, my time at Fitchburg State University, when I could walk into school the following Monday after each show's release for the respective season, and then talk about all these shows with all my friends. It was a wonderful escape from the hells of the classroom. Everyone knows how I feel about kind of just schooling in general. And it was a main reason why I wanted to create the Dirty Table, so that I could have a place to just talk about all this stuff. It just, after I would get all my stuff out to all my friends, I guess there would be some sense of emptiness where it didn't really have a place to go afterwards, but that's how this show came to be in the first place, because I just wanted to share all this unnecessary but also wealth of knowledge with everyone here. We, of course, now have incredible stories to watch on Disney Plus of all of our favorite Marvel characters, whether it be the upcoming shows such as Loki, Hawkeye, Ms. Marvel, even the Marvel What If stories, or any of the older Marvel animated shows that many of us grew up on with Saturday morning cartoons. I don't want to seem ungrateful in that. I just remember what it was like before the TV division of Marvel became such a well-oiled machine. Back then, it was a well-run unit, before everything fell apart and we all soon learned how separate Marvel Television really was from Marvel Studios. Obviously, it became super apparent when Marvel Studios just swallowed everything up altogether. It's fine. I'm thankful for what it gave us, and I think their success, Marvel Television's with Netflix, paved the way for what the Disney Plus series are doing now. These shows on Netflix were unfortunate guinea pigs that wanted to stand on their own, and they did for a while. All of us were talking about them when they first came out, the good and the bad. I think Jeff Loeb and company should be very proud of what they created in such unknown and unprecedented territory, being able to really cross over all of these big budget shows and make them cohesive enough to land on a crossover series. Or even just having some of the characters cross over in other seasons, like Luke Cage appearing in Jessica Jones, I think in the last episode, and Iron Fist coming into Luke Cage and being able to just all play together. It was really nice. The light at the end of this tunnel is that maybe some of our Netflix heroes will return to the big screen. Their casting was stellar in Daredevil, Luke Cage, Jessica Jones, and Punisher. They're all, in my mind, the best representations of possible of their characters on screen. And I will say, while I personally didn't hate Danny Rand in Iron Fist like many others, because Danny Rand is actually a pretty bland character to begin with. Sorry, guys. I would be totally okay if they found an actor of Asian descent to put on the yellow mask instead, since, there have been multiple Iron Fists. I will say that as far as the Defenders go, I do think it was a slightly missed opportunity in terms of overall casting, where they could have had Charlie Cox, obviously as a white actor, Luke Cage is an African-American actor, Jessica Jones is a female actress, and then Iron Fist be an actor of Asian descent. I think that would have been a great lineup, so I think that was kind of a missed opportunity in terms of having representation on screen. But in the end, everything, works out the way that it's supposed to. Kevin Feige hasn't ruled out now that they have control of the characters again from Netflix after the 2-year post-cancellation period that came to an end. He hasn't ruled out that they'll come back on screen with the same actors in place. Rumors have swirled that Daredevil himself, Charlie Cox, has appeared on set of Spider-Man No Way Home. Time will tell if this is true or not based on when we actually see the movie this December. I love to see these heroes get their second/third chance because there really was something magical with the Netflix shows and their characters. Marvel will do their best to ignore what Marvel Television has done with the characters the past few years, but I doubt Marvel can ignore the passionate fan bases behind each of these series. Marvel has been great for fan service for so long now. I don't think they'll pass up on the potential opportunity to further solidify their brand and continue to give audiences what they want. I don't like using the term retconning as much, especially with Marvel Studios, because they've done such a good job of finding sneaky ways to kind of just make everything cohesive, even if things weren't originally intended to be such a way. A popular retcon is Loki's scepter being an Infinity Stone. And I don't consider it a retcon. I just think they did a really good job of finding a way to make it work without having to change too much. But it would be nice if they can just bring in the Marvel Netflix heroes into their storytelling. And they don't even necessarily have to mention previous adventures and such. Like, if you've seen the shows, it only further enhances your enjoyment of the characters. But I think they're good enough with their storytelling capabilities that they can just drop these characters into any movie they choose and maybe make a big budget movie off of them as well. So huge shout out to what Marvel and Netflix did before it came all crashing down, and then everything was just kind of rebuilt separately again. But what do you guys think? Please let me know what you think in the comments down below. Make sure that you like the video, share it with all your friends, subscribe to us on YouTube, follow us at the Zen Den Studios on our Twitch channel, where we do Knights of the Dirty Table every single Friday, live at 5. Make sure you tune in for all the fun, all the games, all the exciting action, and we will see you there. Whoa! Welcome to the end of the Knights of the Dirty Table video that you just watched. Thank you so much for watching. If you haven't already done so, make sure you subscribe to our channel, like our video, share with all your friends, and catch our live stream every Friday live at 5, only on the Zen Den Studios Twitch channel. I gotta go wander off into space. See ya! Whoa! Whoa!